Hi guys, it's Mrs. Tucker. Alright, it's time to learn about box and whisker plots. Yeah, this is something new in 8th grade math also. It'll probably show up on the STAR test, so we need to talk about it. Data can be displayed in many ways. One method of displaying a set of data is with a box and whisker plot. Box and whisker plots are helpful in interpreting the distribution of data. Okay, if we have a set of data, I know you guys know how to calculate mean, median, and mode. Those are all measures of, where is the middle of the data? What's the best number to represent a set of data? Now, range tells you how spread out your data is, and a box and whisker plot is a way to visually represent the spread of the data, or how far distributed that data is. So let me show you what I mean. This right down here is an example of a box and whisker plot. And in order to make a box and whisker plot, we need to know 5 numbers. We need to know our median, our lower quartile, our upper quartile, our high number, and our low number. So we need those 5 points. I know you guys know what a low number is, what a high number is, and what a median is. I need to explain the quartiles to you. So that's what I'm about to do. If you want to stop your video and watch this, or read this, that's fine. I'm going to go through and do an explanation for you. Okay? Measures of variation. Measures of variation is how spread out your data is. We know that the median of a data set of data, separates the data into 2 equal parts. The data can be further separated into quartiles. What does the word quartile remind you of? Yeah, it kind of sounds like quarters, doesn't it? So quartiles means we're going to divide all of our data into 4 equal parts. The first quartile is the median of the lower part of the data. The second quartile is another name for the median of the entire set of data. The third quartile is the median of the upper half of the data. Quartiles separate the original set of data into 4 equal parts. Each of these parts contains 1/4 of the data. All right, I want to show you how this works. All right, here's a set of data. These are math test scores, and these are all percentages. I've got 80%, 75%, 90%, 95, 65. Okay, so here's a set of data. The first thing that you need to do is put your data in numerical order. So we've got to put them in numerical order, lowest number here, highest number here. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we need to find our median. And here's what you do to find your median. Mark off till you find the number that's halfway in the middle. What number is between 80 and 80? Yeah, your median's 80. Okay, so we've got our median. We know our median's 80. Now, to find your first quartile, this is what we need to do next, is find our first quartile and our third quartile. Okay, I need to know which numbers are in the lower half of the data, and I need to know which numbers are in the upper half of the data. So I'm going to make like these propellers. You don't really have to do this, but I think it's funny to do propellers, okay? When you do that, the median does not fall in either the lower half or the upper half, so you wouldn't include the median if the median was a number, separate than the 80s. So I've got my lower half, I've got my upper half. Now, we're going to find the median of the upper half and the lower half. There's the median of the upper half. Here's the median of our lower half. So our first quartile is the median of the lower half. That's the 70. Our third quartile is the median of the upper half. That's the 90. Okay? So what we have done is we have taken our data and we've separated it into 4 equal groups. Okay, come on, pen. All right, computer's running slow this morning. Let's not do that. I'll just use my mouse. All right? You can see that I've got, if that's my lower part of my data, then if I do this, and if I do this, and if I do this, I've divided my data into 4 equal groups. so I can see the spread of my data. All right, I've got my median at 80, my first quartile is 70, my third quartile is 90. I also need to know my low value and my high value. If I've got those 5 points, I can make a box and whisker plot. All right, here's what I'm going to do. Normally what I do is I just draw lines. Let me show you what I do. Here's my median. Here's my first quartile. Here's my third quartile. I connect those three with a box. Okay? Then my high number was 100 and my low number was 65. You do like that and that creates your whiskers. Okay? And that shows you the spread of your data. 25% of my data falls in this range. 25% of my data falls out here. 25% of my data falls in here. And 25% of my data falls in here. So what percentage of your data falls within the box? Yeah, that's your middle 50%. That's the middle 50% of your data. And that's a box and whisker plot. Okay? That's how you do it. Here's some important things to know about box and whisker plots. 100% of the data fall between the two whiskers. From this end right here to this end here, everything in between, that's 100% of your data. Okay? 50% of your data fall within the box. All right? 25% of the data fall in between each of the red dots. That's 25%, that's 25%, here's 25%, here's 25%. This shows the spread or the variability of the data. Here's a special case. You may see a box and whisker plot like the one below, which contains an asterisk. Do you see this guy right here? That little asterisk? Sometimes there is one piece of data that falls well outside the range of all the other values. This single piece of data is called an outlier. If an outlier is included in the whisker, readers may think that there are grades dispersed throughout that whole range from the first quartile to the outlier. If most of your data is falling in here, but you have one super extreme low number, then we're going to mark it with a little asterisk or a little star, and that will be considered an outlier. You know, that's the one kid that didn't study for the test, who sleeps during class. You know that kid, don't you? All right, let's try this one. Here's another example. Here's another set of data. What was the first step to make a box and whisker plot? Yeah, let's put them all in order, from lowest to highest. Now what are we going to do? What was the next step? Yep, find your median. Oops. Well, let me go back. I thought I was going to do that here. Let's find our median. Mark off till we find the middle. Our median is right here. There's our median. Okay. Let me see if my pen's going to work now. No, it's being slow. I'll just keep using my mouse. Okay, now to find our first quartile, we need to find the median of the lower half of the data. Here's the median of the lower half, so that's your first quartile. It's also known as your lower quartile, LQ. Some people call it a lower quartile. Okay, now we have to find the median of the upper half of the data. And that upper half and lower half does not include the 88 because 88 is halfway in between. So my upper half of data are just these three numbers, and the median of the upper half is 90. Some people call that the third quartile. Some people call it the upper quartile. Upper quartile right here, lower quartile here. Upper quartile, lower quartile. First quartile, third quartile, mean the same thing. Then the last two pieces of information I need to know are my high number and my low number. If you get those, you have the 5 pieces of data you need to make your box and whisker plot. So here we go. 88 was my median. So 88 is about right here. My first quartile was at 85. That's about right here. My third quartile was 90. That's right here. Whoops, let me straighten that out. We're going to connect the upper and lower quartiles together with a box. The median will be somewhere in the middle. My high number was a 92. That's about here. And my low number was a 78, which is about right here. All right? And there's your box and whisker plot. So it shows me there were not very many kids that scored 90 and above. 50% of my kids scored 85% to 90, which is pretty darn good. And then 25% of my kids scored between 78 and 85, and that's still not too bad. All right, and that's how you make a box and whisker plot. That's all there is to it. All right, this is a warm-up. This is the one I want to see you guys do right now on your own. Okay, take this set of data, make a box and whisker plot, and I'm going to come around and check. If you're doing this at home, bring it to school tomorrow. Good luck, guys.